This is TWiT.
What about Netflix here? So Netflix continues to slide a little bit. This is the second consecutive quarter of losses. Lost 970,000 paid subs in the quarter. They expected to lose 2 million, so they didn't lose as much as they didn't do as poorly as the poor they thought they were going to do. So I suppose that's an improvement from really bad to bad. But yeah, things are really rocky with Netflix. Netflix used to be kind of something you could count on. It was pretty stable, and now that stability is just kind of out the window. It seems like they're fighting in a few different ways.
They had to pay for all this content. They had to raise their prices by a lot. There's a lot more competition. I mean,
a lot more competition.
Stable.
There's a bit of a recession going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I don't know. I mean,
isn't this the financial corner from what we talked about in the first segment with Google? It's this kind of stuff is bound to happen with the economy being as craptastic as it is right now. Right.
That's true. This isn't an essential need, streaming, and especially like you mentioned, Stacey. There are a lot of competitors out there.
There's competitors. I think that's what it is. Yeah,
I think that's largely what it is too. I mean, for the longest time, Netflix was one of the earliest to the game, largest catalog. I mean, even remember in the beginning when they started the online digital streaming, the content that they did have really wasn't that great, but the fact that they had lots of really not great content was enough for people to buy into it. Be like, well, I'm sure I could find something in here to watch.
Yeah, because they had a lot of old school gems in it, if I remember right. They had a lot of old school gems that you'd tap into that nostalgia side of you. Okay, this is worth the $15 a month, because isn't that what it used to cost?
Well, it was like $7.99, and originally it was like $7.99 plus you got a DVD in the mail, so you had
that's true
at a time.
Right.
So
DVDs, that was such a good day, coming home and opening the mailbox and finding a DVD in there in the little red package.
I don't know,
a moment of delight.
We always had like the aspirational Netflix plus the normal Netflix, and the aspirational one would just sit there and like stare at you.
So true. Maybe I should nail this back and free up that slot for something I'll actually watch. No, I'm going to watch it one of these days.
I will watch an entirely... I was saying I will watch this black and white film that is entirely in a foreign language. Yes.
I've heard that it's worth it. But am I really into it? Yeah.
Have we hit peak subscription? Right, it's 63% of all news subscriptions in the U.S. go to Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and New York Times. Everybody else splits all the rest. There's just a ceiling on it. With so many competitors, as Stacey says, and some getting better, is there just peak? It's only so much. It's going to so big a pie that's going to get sliced up. Did they all think that they could get their pieces?
Yes and no. So here's what I think is happening. I think the consumer is gradually getting accustomed to paying more for subscription. So historically, you might be like, oh, well, I'm only going to subscribe to a couple magazines and maybe a newspaper, right? And so your subscription pie was this big. And then maybe you add Netflix. So now we have a TV chunk in there. So now your subscription pie is this big. And we're adding more, but that happens over time. So you're fighting for an ever-growing pie, but Wall Street wants you to grow, and take 100% of the growth of that pie, or
bigger
whatever.
slices.
So I think what's happening is we're not tapped out exactly. We're tapped out for the products available to us, and that will probably grow slower than anybody who's trying to sell us subscriptions wants it to grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think only time will tell. I was thinking the other day, I still pay for HBO and Showtime. I'm waiting for Billions and Succession. I never watch anything else. I should get rid of.
Why don't you we buy Showtime? We buy it
dip in, dip out.
Yeah,
I got to.
You should be dipping.
Yeah. I do
there's
that
lots of services.
for football season.
Dip it.
Dip it.
Is it Truebill? There's a service that'll actually monitor your subscriptions and flop it, let you, it'll just be like, hey, you're doing this. Speaking of subscriptions,
every now and then
Google
I'll
Voice.
get a message in the family Slack that, hey, so-and-so show is coming out next week. And that's basically my hint to go and resubscribe to certain premium service, whether it's Showtime or something like that. And they will binge right through it. And they know as soon as it's over to let me know so I can turn it off, because I'm not going to keep paying for it if it's a lot of unwatched content out there, you know?
Yeah. When Succession comes along, you must dip it. That's what you do.
Dippage.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Put that to the 80s
That's
song.
not financial advice, by the way.
You must dip it.
Dip it good. Okay.
Dip
Where's
it.
your flower pot
Dip
hat?
it good. Let's see here. But before we kind of veer off of the Netflix train, ad-supported tier is going to launch early 2023. So we started hearing about this very recently, and now with the earnings, we're finding out this is going to happen relatively soon. Not all of the content on the platform is going to be cleared for that ad model. It's going to cost less, of course, than the current $15.49 standard package that we have. So
Less
what
than
is
or
that?
free?
Well, that's a good question. I think what I read was that it's going to cost less than. I think everything that I've heard is that it's a fee, but you still get ads with it. So what is that? Like,
That's no different from Hulu. It's the same
Yeah, I
model
suppose
Hulu
so, right.
uses.
That's the
Well,
Hulu
actually,
model,
Hulu has
right?
3. They have free.
Totally free.
They have
with lots of ads.
lots of ads and no ads.
Yeah. Right.
So Microsoft is signed up, not Google, Microsoft signed up with Netflix to be their ad partner.
That's because Google YouTube is competing with Netflix. And why would you help enrich your competitor?
Well, they were in the negotiations.
Well, no, I know. But I mean, surely
Google's
that
everywhere.
factored against them.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that got me thinking is this plan. You know, password sharing is another thing that we've been hearing from Netflix for the longest time. They were okay with it. Hey, we don't care if you share passwords, and then suddenly they care a lot. Now they're testing share. Hey, you know what? Times change, I suppose. It seems like a pretty obvious boogeyman. You know, if you're losing money, to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be allowing you to share your passwords after all. So I get it. They're testing charging users in Latin America with an extra fee when sharing passwords outside of the primary residence. What this got me thinking is, like, I've stayed in enough Airbnbs and hotels to realize, like, now, like, when you go to a place, it's like there's a Netflix app installed and it's like log in with your account. I wonder how this is going to affect that. That would be interesting. Like, am I going to have to start paying for doing that?
Hulu already does this. Experienced this with the hardhead because he's on my Hulu plan or what have you, and he went off to college that's umpteen hours away, and it was like, no, you can't do this. So he ended up having to create his own account because the home zip code was not close enough to his geographic location.
Oh.
Hey, y'all, I
Hulu's
have to
been
tell
doing
you,
that
I have
for
to
a
correct
while.
it. Hulu doesn't have a free plan anymore. We're old. So they only have an ad-supported plan and a non-ad-supported plan. Oh, my God. And they also have basically cable. Good Lord.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff in their package offerings. At one time, I was paying for the live TV version without ads, plus a couple add-on things. And then I just started cutting stuff out. And now I basically just pay for their, what is it? It's just the ad-free plan. It's not live. It's just ad-free. So I pay for that. But then in August, I will re-up and go back to the live TV because that's when football starts.
Oh, and they have ESPN. So you can add ESPN for $7 a month.
Yeah. And then they have the little package with Disney Plus because, I get Disney Plus for some kind of discount as well. Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. There's a lot of stuff in
This is two new businesses for Ant. I want him to be my customer service representative on my side, and I want him to be my entertainment concierge. Dipping me in and dipping me out. Yeah. And
hey, if you ain't watching it, cut it off.
yeah.
That's
I think
just how it
this
goes.
is it, Ant. Yeah.
If you're not watching it, just cut it off.
That's true. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to pay for it if you're not watching it. Absolutely. And I mean, and the system is designed to be friendly to your ability to cancel it and then re-up. Like if it was like the old, satellite. Like when we got DirecTV, it's like, sign up for the whole year. You couldn't just drop in for the month or whatever. Oh. That's one of my favorite things about these streaming services. Like I don't have to pay, when the Olympics comes around, that's when I pay for the entire month for YouTube TV, watch all the Olympics, and then I don't need it anymore, So nice that you can.
Cable used to do that too. Time Warner Cable used to do that to us with the whole annual package or what have you, and I'd have to opt out of that. It's like, no, let me stay month to month. And I would call them at the same time each year. Okay, you can go ahead and kill this now. Because we'll just
and you'd have to actually call, like, you know what I mean? You'd have to actually jump through some hoops to make that happen.
And
now
then they
want
like
to
you
open up the app and you go, bloop.
They'll want to play chicken with you and then offer you another free month and this and that. And that usually keeps people on. But I'm Aunt Pruitt. Right. No, I know what I want.
Well,
I know what I want,
California,
and I don't say please.
I know what I want.
And I don't say please.
Unless it's to Mom.
In California, it's actually very nice for y'all because there's a state law that says if you can sign up on the web, you have to be able to cancel on the web.
Yes, that's right.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everywhere should have this. Like when I wanted to cancel the Wall Street Journal, I had to call and it was such a pain in the butt. And I was like, God, if I only lived in California, because they're like, I'm like, I would like to cancel. You click on the thing and they're like, call unless you're in the state of California, then click through here.
Oh, but you clicked it anyways, right? Just to see.
I clicked it to see, and then I was like, oh man, I need a VPN.
Yeah, right. I wonder if that would have solved the problem right there.
Right.
Probably not, but yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We're only gonna give you the customer friendly solution if we are required by law. Anywhere that we're not required by law, we're gonna inflict pain upon you.
Yeah, we're gonna.
That is the way the world works, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it is, but it's dumb. It's dumb that it works like 100%.
that.